Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character and do a deep dive into that character and give you all the badass moments, all the top covers, all the best readings, all the stuff we like, and even the stuff we don't like. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a great episode, but as always with my partners in crime, we are missing one tonight. Dan, I know you're out tonight with the wife. I want you guys to have a good time. Don't worry about the show. We got you covered. But as always, down below is the Ric Flair of comics.
Woo!
From the Library of Comics, Uncle Gary. And then to my right, that's my right. To my right is Tim the Terrible, but it's also a nice guy.
Yeah.
So, how you guys doing tonight? And
very good.
We're doing great.
Yep. And who are we covering tonight? Who are we covering? If you saw the title card, it's this guy. It's this time traveling guy right there.
Yeah.
Cable.
He came from the future to be here tonight.
There you go.
He did. Yes, he did.
What a nice guy.
He is awesome. He is awesome. All right. So since Dan is not here, he was kind enough to go ahead and record an intro for us of this character's details. So Tim, if you would kick that off for us, let's see what he has to say.
You got it. Here's Dan, ladies and gentlemen, with everything you need to know to get started with Bishop.
So, Bishop's first appearance was in Uncanny X-Men 282, published in November 1991. He's created by John Byrne and Will Portacio. So his origin is that Lucas Bishop was born 80 years in the future of Marvel Comics. He was raised in a mutant concentration camp, and the M that's tattooed on over his eye was a mark that was given to identify mutants. After his parents were killed, he was taken in by a man named LeBeau, who is also known as the Witness, who was supposedly the last man to see the X-Men alive. Now, Bishop and his sister Shard were then eventually taken in by their grandmother and raised in a mutant concentration camp in Brooklyn. After she died and after there was a mutant rebellion, the mutants were released from the camps and left to go out and fend for themselves. Bishop and Shard, who were still just children at this point, were taken in by this war veteran named Hancock, who decided to take them in and raise them. At one point, they encountered this mutant anti-human group called the Exhumes, who Bishop had looked up to, but then they kidnapped his sister Shard, took her hostage. The XSE, which is this future mutant police force, came in and rescued her, and that's when Bishop decided that he wanted to join their ranks. Later on, the guy that was raising them, Hancock, was murdered, and the XSE came in and they arrested the criminals. And then Bishop and Shard, that's when they both joined the XSE. Later on, during a training session, his instructors and a lot of the other students that he was with were all killed in this attack. Bishop rallied the survivors and kept them fighting until reinforcements could arrive to help them. And over the years, he rose in the ranks through the XSE until he became their field commander. Now, there was one mission that when they went to capture the mutant criminal Fitzroy, and they captured him in the X-Men's old mansion, when Bishop found this recording of Jean Grey, where she said that the X-Men were betrayed by one of their own. Bishop went and confronted the Witness about this, who didn't give him a straight answer, so it made him suspicious. Later on, Fitzroy escaped and let loose a lot of other mutant criminals that were in prison for life, and he escaped to the past. So Bishop time traveled back to the past to find him, and that's where he encountered the original X-Men, who helped him capture Fitzroy, and then he decided to stay in the past and become one of the X-Men. As far as his powers, he can absorb and redirect energy, whether it's kinetic energy or energy blasts, and he can use that to fire energy blasts on his own. He can use it to increase his strength and invulnerability. He's also highly skilled in armed and unarmed combat due to his XSE training.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan. That was a
Thank you,
good
Dan.
intro on that one.
Yeah.
All right. So before we dive in a little bit further, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, which is W Energy Drink. Head on over to WGG and check them out. They're a good, clean energy drink. There's no bad aftertaste. There's no sugar crash. There's no jitters. It's a good, clean energy drink. You should check them out. Use
Right.
the code word code-X at checkout and save 10%. See that ticker down below?
It is right there.
Use it.
Mhm.
Use it. Anyhow, most of the team has had this drink. It's very good. I have some of it myself. I do use it a lot, and it is a good clean energy drink. Head on over there to WGG. Use the code word code-X and save 10%.
There you go.
All right. All right. So now we're going to jump to the segment of what works best. How does this character work best? Did Dan give us any information for this, or did he just record
No,
that intro?
just the intro.
All right, then, Uncle Gary, you are up, sir.
All right. I think Bishop works best when he's a time cop. He's a cop from the future, come to the present to right wrongs. And I just like that. I like that he's got an attitude. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But down, at his core, Bishop's a cop, and I like that. And he works well. He works well on a team. I like him when he's in a not the position as the team leader, but when he's in the position of the deputy leader on a team. He's somebody you can count on in a pinch. You can count on him in a fight. He doesn't back down. He's courageous. He has principles, and he stands by them. And he does not, he does not, he's bullheaded sometimes. I guess that to his detriment and his credit, he's bullheaded. He's not easily swayed, and he's a man that when he's on a mission, he stays on that mission, sometimes till the bitter end. So I like Bishop as a time cop that is just somebody that is not swayed from the path of what he thinks is the right thing to do. And when he's on a mission, he is on that mission, and he is not to be swayed.
Very good. I like it.
Yeah.
Tim, how about you? What do you got for best?
Gary, I'm going to parrot that a little bit. I love the fact of when he's in the role of law enforcement. District X is a perfect example of that.
Yep.
Throughout the majority of his first couple of years in the Marvel Universe, they really leaned into that whole law enforcement aspect. The fact that he is your tank and you can count on him, and he will be there and he will support your decisions. If he disagrees with him, he'll let you know behind closed doors.
Right.
Well, that's later on, but he will stand behind his leader, and he will follow orders and do what needs to be done. I want to add a little bit, though, and say that I really like the aspect of him as a reluctant hero, because like in the beginning, what did he see himself as? Like he was just part of the legacy, right? And he looked up to all of these X-Men, every single one of them, and learned everything that he could about him. And when he got trapped in the past, he was amongst his heroes. So he himself didn't think that he deserved to be or was good enough to be a member of their ranks. I think at first he was very reluctant to be a part of that until he finally gave in. And I think it was a little bit of Storm and other characters that helped convince him that this is necessary. This is part of your life. This is who you are now, and we want you. So the reluctant hero bit, I think he did very, very well. But yeah, as a time cop, as a detective, as a police officer in general, I think that is a very good role for him. When he's kind of crazy and stuff like that, that doesn't work so well. We'll get into that later. But yeah, definitely the police officer and the reluctant hero.
I agree.
Very good. Very good. So, not to beat a dead horse here, but I'm going to go with the time copying as well. I like the time traveling aspect, and you guys have hit the nail on the head with this one. It works perfectly for him and his character. But what I like more is his ability of being able to rechannel energy and connect energy and stuff like that. At the time, I didn't think there was another character out that was similar to him, so this was a good, refreshing take on another power set. That we about. So I did like that as well. But yeah, the whole cop thing, if you guys watch the X-Men '90s cartoon, they portrayed
Yep.
pretty well in that as well.
They did.
And it did. And you know, being a hunter of mutants, and then deciding that's not the way to go, and then turning his back on that, and then deciding to go back in the past and fix that that problem with that traitor that caused his future. And what I liked about that especially was it seemed like every time he would go back to the future, this the past the what he went to correct was corrected, but something else happened. And
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Another catastrophic event. So he had to go back again to to fix things up. So yeah, I like that part of him, and I think that really works well for him. I also like what you guys said about not being the team lead, but being like the team lieutenant.
Yeah.
Like a field commander, like Storm
Yep.
or Cyclops. Say, we need to take that objective over there, and he's like, I'm on it. That type of thing,
Yep.
Gotcha.
So,
Rogue with me.
yeah, exactly. So, yep, and during like I've seen, remember like a couple of battles that he was in, he was always like, hit me with something, and he would get shot by Cyclops or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Gambit would hit him with a card that would charge him up, and he could redirect that energy as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's stuff I definitely.
Well, and another thing to add to this whole bit is that he didn't always rely on his powers too, because Gary, like you said, with his law
Yeah.
enforcement training and all that stuff, that man knew how to fight. And if he
Yep.
had to get nose to nose with you, you were not going
Yeah.
to be standing up after
Right.
you two were done.
He didn't
And
mind using those guns either.
No,
Right.
not at all. Not at all.
And-
He did not mind to get physical. He did
Yeah.
not mind to shoot you, and he
Yeah.
definitely did not mind to use his powers.
Right.
Them
And he was
guns.
he was drawn as a big character, like
Oh
almost
yeah,
Colossus size type of big character. Not as tall as him, but
yeah,
He's a big man.
stocky as hell.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
that was one guy you just don't want to mess with.
Well,
No,
this
no.
was another great example of how to bring more African American heroes in too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of changing an existing character and all of a sudden we've changed the race or the gender and all that.
Right.
Create a brand new character that is awesome, and then that character can create its own legacy and go,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
And
yeah.
Bishop, I mean, how horrified would we be if we turned Bishop into another ethnic character?
Mm.
Bishop this is how Bishop is supposed to look. A
Yeah.
big, imposing man, and
Right.
this is a perfect look. This is just a perfect example of creating a character
Yeah.
that that of diversity, that is an amazing character that stays with us, and good for them. Good for John
Right.
Byrne and Willis.
I think it was Claremont and Wiley Portasio that
Yeah.
that
Yep.
were the
I think
creators.
Claremont
Yeah.
had something to do with it. But yeah, so good for them for creating this great character that is an amazing, fit into the X-Men legacy.
Yeah. And
They gave him,
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say they gave him when you create a new character, they gave him an amazing story, and then that
Yep.
just starts as a snowball effect, and it builds, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden now he is part of the team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you said, he has his own legacy now.
Absolutely.
Well, I remember reading these books when they were hitting shelves, and when you got when you read 281, that was a great lead up into 282, 283, his first appearance and all that stuff. And when you
Yep.
see that last panel and Bishop shows up, you're like, oh shit.
It's about to go down.
And, yeah, the X-Men are gonna get hurt. And you knew it. I couldn't wait for the next issue. I remember that specifically. It was such a big
Yep.
deal when it came out.
Yeah. All right, so this is a good segue to our badass moments. And Tim, what do you have for badass moments?
Oh, first appearance, 110% when he showed up out of the time portal with him and his two partners. And I think it was Jean Grey and Storm that were standing there. Storm was the leader of the gold team. And that's also the beginning of the gold and the blue team, too. Like they were fighting Nimrod and Fitzroy and things like that. And who was it? Somebody was giving Fitzroy the beat down. And he's like, you guys have no idea who's coming. You have no idea what's going to show up here in a few minutes. And when he does, all of you are done. And so I want to say it was Colossus that was holding on to him. And he's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then all of a sudden that time portal shows up, and here comes Bishop. Here comes his other two partners. And he's like, Fitzroy, you are under arrest. We're here for you. Fitzroy's cackling or whatever. And they just look up, and there he is. And it's just that panel. And like I just said a couple seconds ago, you were like, it's about to happen.
Yeah,
Something's going to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were his companions? Was it Randall? And was Randall one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Randall was one. I forget the other one.
Yeah.
See, and that was another thing too, is when his two partners, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, this is 30 years, so if you haven't read it, sorry.
Shame on you.
When his partners were killed, that was tragic.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
And because like they were all very close and stuff like that. But I digress.
And that made him a man on an island then.
Yeah, absolutely. A man out of time.
Yep.
Another badass moment when he and Gambit squared off. That was amazing. During the Age of Apocalypse storyline, when literally he was out of time because he was the only person that remembered a world that wasn't the Age of Apocalypse. Exactly. And in that alternate universe, he's seen as this lunatic, this madman that nobody will listen to, and he's speaking in riddles at this point, and just the whole course of his progress in that story leading up to I think it was Wolverine or somebody else that got a hold of him and started to realize that things were different, and it was all because of Bishop. Like everything that he had been saying that was jumbled and crazy was all true once you de-scrambled the code, so to speak. Yeah. Yep. So there you go. Those are two badass moments.
Once you were breaking the code.
Once you were breaking the code, exactly.
Code, ladies and gentlemen, breaking the code. All right, Uncle Gary, what do you got for badass moments?
All right, I got my my badass moments for Bishop. I'm going to actually go with that too. When his first appearance, when shoot, stuff. Look what the hell just crept up on
darn it,
crapola.
Yeah. Wow, great ball of fire.
Look at those feet.
Great googly moogly.
When he was, he had the timeline, but he had a face-off with Legion, and Legion had a psi knife, a psychic knife, and he grabs it, and Bishop starts stabbing himself with Legion's knife to keep releasing this energy, and it created this like energy loop that discombobulated David Haller and just messed up his whole powers and blew up the whole thing on him, and just I think that was the catalyst for the timeline getting restored, right? By stopping Legion. Yeah. So that I mean, the badass thing to take that character's psi knife and start using it on yourself to get that energy to create that loop. That's pretty awesome, man. And then in Onslaught, X-Men #1, he took a full energy blast. And is this on your list, Sal?
You got two of them already.
I'm going to let you talk about that one. Well, no, and the other one was the entrance. So I'm going to let you talk about that one. Okay. So I'm going to hold off and let you describe that one.
Okay. All right. Very good. So I'll start with that one. X-Men Onslaught #1, 1996. Bishop pulled off this moment where he absorbed a full-on blast from Onslaught, to save his teammates from a force of 1,000 different mutants.
Yes.
So he took this blast for the team, and it even impressed Onslaught.
He literally took one for the team. He
took one for the team, but it impressed Onslaught to let him live. And that he was impressed with that. So one of my other moments was,
and let everybody know in case they don't know what Onslaught was. He was a combo of who?
It was a combo of Charles Xavier and Magneto.
Yep.
Yeah, very devastating.
I remember going to my LCS back in the day when that storyline hit, and the guy asked me who I thought it was, and I said, it looks like a combination of these two guys. And he was like, no, that's not going to be the case. And I'm like, really? It looks like Magneto with Charles Xavier back, type
Yeah.
of thing. Whatever. It's just like maybe he was trying to pull my leg. I don't know. I was young and foolish back in that day, but whatever.
You were right.
So,
Yeah.
I was. So one of my other moments was with Legion. He took the Legion side knife and was stabbing himself to break the loop on that timeline. And then my last moment was when he kills Sugarman in X-Men number 10, Uncanny X-Men number 10, 2018. I got this from Disassembled arc through issue 10. So and he kills Sugarman because he was tracking down the Dark Beast, but the Dark Beast had got away, and he got a hold of Sugarman and he kills him. And the panel alone is pretty good. He's just standing there. Sugarman's like on the ground, completely like lifeless, and he's just standing over him like, like that. So I had that. So Gary, do you have more you want to talk about the Onslaught one? Did you want to say
no, that was it. I just you described it perfectly. I just didn't want to steal all the thunder because because you deserve to get a good one in there. So that was perfect.
No, that's fine. I think it's actually really awesome when sometimes we have the same badass moments because it shows that we really like this character and it goes with the readings. If we all pick the same reading, that's something you gotta check out.
Well, I mean, all of that stuff really stands out, though. If we're all unanimous on this particular storyline or badass moment, it's important for a reason because it's so great.
Right, like I was on Tim with the entrance too.
Yeah.
When a character makes an entrance, that is just like, especially an entrance is great, but when it's a debut entrance and it's that badass.
It takes the whole issue to build up. Like the whole issue just works to do that last page.
And then you're like, God damn, I got to wait a month.
Yeah.
What?
And you know what that issue that happened in?
Hulk 280, Hulk 180. Oh, I saw what you did there.
Wow.
Hey, did you see on the podcast yesterday? I whipped out the Hulk 180. And TJ, I said, "You mean this one, TJ?"
Oh my God.
Nice. That was good.
Everything happened in Hulk 180, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true. That's
the
true.
world was created in 6 days in Hulk 180.
The multiverse was created right there. Hulk 180, okay? All right. Moving on to our next segment. This is going to be critiques and stuff that we don't like about this character. And let's go ahead and just continue the same pattern. Uncle Gary, you go first on this one.
You know what? There's not a whole lot I don't like about Bishop. I think he's a really cool character. I think I guess I don't know. I really have nothing that I'm going to say I dislike about it. I think they've used him right way. I don't think they strayed too far from the fact that he is a cop. He's a time cop. So I mean, I don't think there've been any wild fluctuations and changes in his personality like they do with some other characters. So I think pretty much the writers have stayed true to who his essence is, and they haven't strayed too far to give me a reason to criticize character. I mean, the fact that he's stubborn and hard-headed and like his problem with LeBeau, that's kind of that kind of makes him a full character. That makes him like all of us flawed.
Oh yeah.
So I embrace him with his flaws, that he's a stubborn SOB at times.
Yeah.
And that's who he is. And I don't think that's a criticism of the character or the writing. That just makes him a well-rounded character.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, we got TJ here. He says,
"Hey,
there we
TJ.
go. I was waiting to see if anyone would bring it up."
With the Hulk 180?
TJ, I had it for you yesterday. I gave you the Hulk 180.
You're welcome, TJ. Anytime I can bring up the first appearance of Wolverine, I shall do it for you.
I think we said yesterday this was a dead horse. We're riding this dead horse.
All the way.
Sal, somebody also brought up gaping holes yesterday. So
this horse is very much alive.
The way too.
Gentlemen.
I'm going to get a necromancer to bring that horse back to life just so I can beat it to death again.
Beat it to death again.
This horse is immortal.
I don't know why we don't give Dan more problems for the my first episode when he talked about heinous acts. And I said, "What, heinous acts?"
That was
we got to bring that back.
A beautiful friendship, ladies.
That was right. Once I said that, I think y'all knew that I was your people.
Yep,
that's done. Right.
It's done.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Tim. What do you got for what you don't like?
So There's one instance in particular, and it was during Civil War, and that was when Mark Millar did it. Like when Tony Stark was, this was when the X-Men were being segregated in their own little area. They had the Sentinels that were patrolling and watching and all that stuff, and Tony and Emma are sitting there talking about how the X-Men should join the side of the Registration Act and all that stuff. And Emma reminds him of the things that the X-Men have been through in their history. And she said, we'll stay neutral and don't ever ask us to change that position. Well, when Tony's leaving, who comes out of the bushes but Bishop? And he's like, we need to talk. And that seemed extremely out of character. It's like when they do things like that, when they take him out of character as a police officer, as law enforcement, his job should be to stay neutral, and that they used him as that kind of plot pivot. I didn't really care for too much. I didn't like when they made him go bald. I think he should have kept the Jerry curls and the mullet. I thought that was beautiful and majestic and fantastic. And I was really disappointed to see.
Speaking of the man that has all the hair.
Exactly. Us people with hair need to stick together.
See, Sal was going to say the other thing, that he really hates the long flowing hair. That
he loves my hair.
The shorn look. Yeah.
I just keep it back, but now I'm going to bring it front and center.
Bring it front and center, baby.
There you go.
How long do you brush that?
I brush it 15 times a day, an hour each time. So
in the blood of newborns.
In the tears of bald men.
Oh,
so you and Wes, I collect your tears.
I'm not even crying, man. Bald is sexy. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. Bald is sexy.
Wes does every time he sees my hair. He's like, damn you and your hair. I'm like, Wes, I can't help that I'm beautiful. But anyways, when they take him out of character, I don't like that. I don't like when they have to change his appearance too much costume wise. I think that right there, the figure, Gary, I think that costume is perfect.
I do too.
And there should have never been a reason to change anything like that.
I love the bandana.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The neckerchief.
The neckerchief.
Absolutely amazing, and it was perfect. Yeah. So those are minor critiques, but Gary, like you said, there's most of the time they stick to character, they stick to form with Bishop, and it works very, very well when they do. It's just those minor times when they pull him out of character or use him as some kind of ability to get the plot moving along that is unnecessary, is what that I don't care for.
I see that. I see, that was a valid point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I am going to pair it on with Gary there and say I think this character is probably perfectly well written. I don't really see anything too wrong with him at all. The only thing I kind of fear is if they just use him as a plain soldier or just a plain cop.
Yeah.
He is more than just that. I mean, he's great at it, but he's more than just that. And the only other thing that really scares me is the whole time travel thing, which is awesome. But how many times can you reuse the time travel thing? You think with time travel you could reuse it again and again and again, but I could see that becoming a stale plot point. Well, I'll just go back in time and fix that.
It gets old.
It does. It does. So
I wonder if Barry Allen's ever had that problem, or Wally West.
Once or twice, maybe.
Somewhere.
So
there.
I just don't want to see that progress into that direction. If they go into that direction, the character is going to lose everything that was good about him. And I don't want that to happen. So all in all, I don't have any problem with this guy. The way he's written, the way he's drawn, the way he's portrayed, spot on 100%. I like it. So that's what I fear about these other two situations.
I think this is only the second time that I've been on that there's been a character that we've said there's really nothing wrong with him. Lobo was the first, and
Yeah.
Bishop is the second.
We were
Yeah.
afraid to say there was anything wrong with Lobo.
Right, exactly.
I know. He would kick us in the butt, huh?
TJ
All right.
Gentleman says, thanks again for showing Wolvie's first appearance, Uncle Gary. Hulk 180 never gets old. No,
And
sir.
TJ, thank you for acknowledging that Wolverine's first appearance was Hulk 180. We
Yeah.
talked about this yesterday. It is
TJ
not 181. It is
That's right.
180. is
TJ,
his
you just
first
got
appearance.
the VIP elite status on Codex Station.
Yes, you
I'm
did.
calling it right here.
Salute.
No, because Hulk's first appearance was not in Hulk 180. Wolverine's first appearance was in Hulk 181, ladies and gentlemen.
It was not. It was not. Wolverine spoke.
Tim,
He spoke. He entered the fray in what it is a cameo, but it is his first
his
appearance.
first appearance.
Oh.
It is.
Yeah.
This is a conversation for another day. Breaking the Code's going to make its debut back.
You know what?
It's a good...
God, Tim, I'm going to write this down. Tim's wrong about Tim.
And there's a first for everything. Like Hulk
there is
180.
nothing your silky voice can do to make me think otherwise.
You would be so sorely mistaken, Sal.
Mm-mm.
My silky voice will get milk poured in my cereal every morning.
Wow.
Not by me. Not by me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next segment.
There we go.
And that is top covers.
Oh,
Not Hulk 180 covers, top covers for Bishop.
yeah.
And I believe we have Dan's top covers.
Yeah.
Dan picked.
So
All
let's
right.
start with Dan. Let's see what Dan picked.
So Dan picked. Oh,
Yep.
can't go wrong with the first one.
Nope.
Yep. Nope. And he's got the X-Men number 8. Yep. With Gambit. This is probably the face off Gambit. Yep. And
We're going to
District
gloss
X.
over Dan's because we all have a lot of the same stuff.
Yep, we do. All right, Uncle Gary, show us your top covers now.
All right. Let me see what I did. Okay. Well,
Look at that.
we're going to start with the original one. So that's
Mhm.
X-Men 282, which was really his second appearance because his first appearance was in 281 when he appeared at the end, just like Wolverine.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like a Hulk 180.
Kind of like a Hulk 180 situation here.
Let's see what CLZ says.
Yeah.
Shane.
Okay. Willis Portacio did that great cover in 282. The one in the middle is Extreme X-Men number 34. His costume was tweaked a little bit in that, but I really like that.
See,
series.
yeah, I dig
I like
that
the trench coat.
I do too. I like the gloves, the
because
red
of
gloves.
the team, the
Yep.
extreme, and all that stuff. It fits. It's perfect.
Absolutely, and that was done by Salvador Larroca. I really like Larroca's art a lot, and I love this series. You may hear more about this series, but I love this series, Extreme X-Men, very much. But I just think that's a great, awesome look for Bishop. And then the one on the far right is that is actually a Spider-Man book, and it's the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 30, and it's the B cover, and that is done by Jim Lee, and that is just kick-ass.
great.
Yeah,
That
isn't that
is.
great? So
Yep.
when I was looking at my Bishop covers and I saw that Spider-Man one, I'm like, I forgot about that one.
I did too, actually.
Yeah. So that is
That's
just
badass.
yeah, that is a badass.
That
cover.
is prime 90s Bishop
wonder-
right
I wonder
there.
if him and Cable get together and compare guns.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, man.
Sometimes they even have weapons.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
24-inch Python's Cable. Beat that.
Yeah.
Tim, let's see your covers.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry,
So-
Gary. Gary, you were done, right?
Yeah, I was done. I'm done.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No,
Okay,
you
so as always, first full appearance of Bishop, 282.
did. See?
Ladies and
First
gentlemen.
full. That's right.
Yeah. His name is Bishop, and nothing will ever be the same. I love these captions on
Yep.
the 90s Marvel books. And look at his stance, too. Like, he's got both of his hands out, powers going from one side to the other. It looks absolutely amazing, almost Christ-like.
He's saying, yeah, but he's also saying, bring it, bitches.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is the classic cover for Bishop. It sets the tone for everything for the next couple of years with him, and it's wild. I love it. In the center, Bishop, the Last X-Man. That was a 12-issue series, I think, or maybe a little longer, where he is the main focus. This is a nice, solid time travel story and a little bit of other things mixed in. It's been a little while since I've read it, but the cover alone is great. It's got a mixture of his costume at that time. So from the waist down, it's pretty much the same, but from the waist up, it's a lot of newer stuff, a little bit of changes and things like that, but it looks cool. It looks amazing. And
that was on my short list of
Mhm.
covers.
for covers, right on.
Yeah, it sure was.
I'm
As
glad
was
it.
the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it made it. And X-Men number 8 right there. This I think is the tail end of a X-Man betrayed us, and this is
Yep.
Bishop finally confronting Gambit about that.
Yep.
And it's 2 issues, right? Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
That the storyline encompasses, and it's absolutely fantastic. Jim Lee drawn Bishop looks beautiful.
Oh, without a
Yep.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
those
look
are
how
my
he is. He's like huge. He's stocky. He's just a man you don't F with. You know?
He is got it. Rogue even knows that Gambit
Yeah.
is all but finished. Oh yeah, and
Yep.
Ghost Rider's in there too.
Oh yeah, by the way, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
So yeah, those are my covers right there.
I
All
love
right,
it.
cool. All right, let's pull up mine then.
All right.
Look at that. Look at
Oh,
that.
look
We
at
got
it.
another
Yeah.
one there. Let's
Yeah.
go with the one that we have matching there, X-Men number 8. Come on, Jim Lee cover.
All right.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
Plus Ghost Rider.
Plus Ghost
Yeah.
Rider.
Yep.
So the middle one there is Bishop Xavier Security Enforcer. That was the XSC or XSE. Sorry. So that was just a great cover. You got him. You got his sister Shard there,
Yep.
and it was just a great story all around. They got
Is that Romita?
Is
Is that a
that
Romita?
is
It
not
looks like it,
Romita.
doesn't it?
That is not Romita. That is actually Steve Epting.
Oh, Epting.
Oh.
God, that really looks like Romita to me. Wow.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does.
Well, I mean, Ramita was real big on the Uncanny title at this time, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he's got the gun in one hand. He's got his powers going off in the other one. That's
great.
badass.
Yeah.
All right, and we got Bishop number 1 over here on the far left. Is that Bishop number 1? It is
Yeah.
Bishop
Yep.
number 1,
For
and-
goodness.
Yep.
and that was by Carlos Pacheco. I'm pronouncing that right? Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Pacheco. You're right.
Yes.
There we go. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting there.
That's-
Anyhow, yep. So I like this one because it's just, he's standing there. He's got the gun in one hand. He's got another gun over his shoulder, and it looks like there's a battle going on, or
Yeah.
raging something's about to go down, and he's there ready to fight. You can see
and
that
it's got
from the face.
foily goodness.
That's foily goodness, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I own that book too. That's great. All right, there we go.
Very nice. Good
Wow.
choices.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff.
Yep. All right, so let's take a little break here and talk about our sponsor. Tim, why don't you go ahead and do that for us?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love the covers that you saw here just a few moments ago, I know the perfect place you can go get them. You can head over to Nirvana Comics in Knoxville, Tennessee. Their back issue selection is amazing. They have a
Mhm.
comic for everybody, and they want to make sure that you get what you want.
That's
They are
right.
my local comic shop. They are my exclusive shop. Everything that I get for weekly pulls on After Dark Comics Unleashed, I get directly from Nirvana Comics, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? If you're not in the Knoxville area, you can head over to their website, nirvanacomicsknoxville.com, to get even more awesome stuff. They have store exclusives on there, a wide selection of back issues. You can set up your pull list with them. They do ship across the country, and it is absolutely amazing. They use the app Comics Geek to set up your pull list, and you can add and remove as needed. Head over to Nirvana Comics, ladies and gentlemen. Meet Grant, Jasmine, and the rest of the Nirvana Comics team. They have a comic for everybody.
Awesome. That's good stuff. That's
Absolutely.
good stuff. All right, so moving on, we got now is our essential readings. So we have Dan's essential readings.
All right.
Right?
Yeah,
Let's see
let
those.
me find them in this mix of wonderful comic books.
There we go. There we are. X-Men, the times and lives of Lucas Bishop. Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
That text is kind of hard to read with the yellow thing for me, but it's all right. District X, always a good one, and Age of Apocalypse, and that is amazing. That's a
Yes.
good one. I love
Yes,
that
it
one.
is.
Yeah, and I know all three of these will be on our lists as well.
Yeah.
Yep, probably so. All right, Uncle Gary, give us yours.
All right, mine a little bit different. I've got one different, but I'm going to say X-Men: the Times and Lives of Lucas Bishop. This, but this is great because it's giving you his whole history of how
Yeah.
he
Yes.
grew
yes.
up with his sister and all this. So this, of course, happened after his first appearance when when people wanted the backstory, and this was a great backstory. It was wonderfully done, and you find out about him. District X, which we've talked about, where he was a cop. That's when he was had the clean shaven head, but it was a cop comic, and using one of the baddest cops that badasses. Not, I mean, a badass cop, not a bad cop like a dirty cop, but just a cop you did not want to screw with. And when he used his skills as a detective in that quite a bit. So it wasn't just he was a street cop; he was a detective that had to outthink the bad guys and track people down. So I love District X. And then a book I really love, I put Extreme X-Men. It went 46 issues. I loved all 46 issues. And it was Chris Claremont wrote this, and it's my favorite portrayal of Bishop. He was second in command to Storm, and he was a trusted lieutenant to her, and he was the tank of the team. And I just loved how Bishop was portrayed in that as the right hand that she could always count on.
Yeah.
And the Salvador Larroca art was fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
Did he stick with it through the whole series?
Yes, Bishop was there the whole series. Or Larroca, you mean?
Yeah.
I think Larroca was there for the majority of it. I don't know if he made it all the way to the end, but that art was just, like you saw on one of my covers I showed was Larroca. I really, and I love the way he drew Storm in there too. So I know when we had our Storm episode, I had a Larroca cover in there too.
When I went to McKay's not too long ago in Knoxville, I was able to get volume 2 of Extreme X-Men. Haven't read it yet because I want to get volume 1 in trade, and then I'm going to read the whole series.
Oh, well, it's really great. Like I said, it's 46 issues, and you had Cannonball was on that team and was used very well. So I really one day I'll have Cannonball as one of my characters.
Nice. So it looks like Larroca went up to issue 24 on Extreme X-Men. I'm looking at that in my CLZ now.
A little over half.
Nice. That's good.
24 of the 46. So but yeah, so Extreme X-Men I recommend it highly. So
nice.
And you know what? If you want to collect the next title, 46 issues, you can do that. None of those are super expensive.
That's true.
Yep.
Very true. All right, Tim, what do you got for us there?
Okay, so let's see here.
I'm seeing a pattern there.
Times and Lives of Lucas Bishop. Uncle Gary, you covered that very well. That is the origin story that we all wanted, that we all needed.
Yep.
And I think it went 9 issues, if I'm not right, or if I'm probably not right. I'm probably wrong. But I think it went 9 or so issues, something like that. It was an extended mini, but well worth a read if you want the origin of Bishop up to the point when he goes through the portal. Uncanny X-Men 281 through 288. That right there is his first appearance, his cameo all the way through the end of that major storyline. I think right up to the point where he becomes a member of the X-Men. So those several issues right there, I highly recommend if you want to see the impact that Bishop had right from the get-go of when he came into the Marvel Universe and into the X-Men's lives. Those issues right there, 281 to 288, are must-reads.
And then Tim, the lives and times of Lucas Bishop was a 3-issue mini.
3 issue. Wow, I was way off. It was a divisible by 3 though. So,
but you know what? Each issue was 3 times as good as a regular comic, so that's why it made 3 times 3 is 9.
There you go. Then we have Age of Apocalypse right there. The reason why I put that, even though he isn't a major character, he is a foundation character for the entire story.
Yep.
And Bishop is kind of like our representation through the story. We remember, or we know that the timeline isn't supposed to be like this. We know it's supposed to be a certain way, and Bishop is that representation in the story the whole time through all of Age of Apocalypse. He's talking about is this is wrong, this is wrong, all of this is wrong. It shouldn't be like this. It should be like this. And people start to realize and start to come to terms with the fact that their alternate reality shouldn't even exist in the first place, and they want to revert things back to the way they were. Age of Apocalypse, I think, is one of the best things Marvel has ever put out. And if you haven't read it, that's X-Men Alpha, X-Men Omega, X-Men Prime, and all the sub-series, like all the main titles for X-Men that were out at that time. They stopped for 4 months and did nothing but Age of Apocalypse stuff. So you had Astonishing X-Men, Gambit and the Externals, Weapon X, Factor X, where Dark Beast is introduced, and so much more. It's absolutely amazing. So highly recommend. TJ here, he says, around the time of X-Men 8 is when I quit collecting. I collected Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and Punisher, so I had to buy just about every title Marvel made. Still haven't forgiven Marvel for that.
I feel you on that one, TJ.
And then our very own Sono the Writer says Age of Apocalypse is one of my all-time favorites. Absolutely.
Our extra movie star.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Movie star extra, I should say.
Yes. So yeah, those are my recommended readings right there.
All right.
Good choices, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's bring up mine because I know mine will be completely different. Who changed them? Who changed that one?
Ooh,
X-Men: The Times and Lives of Lucas Bishop. Not going to go into that. We've covered that one in depth. There's nothing more to say about that, but go read it. So I actually chose for the next one was X-Men 8 and X-Men 298. So this is like the storyline where he's confronting Gambit, and it is they actually get put into a dangerous session together.
After Executioner's song, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, so this is building this whole time, but they get put into a danger room session together, and it gets really personal. And this almost made my badass moments list. And he's telling Gambit off. And he's like, I know you're an X-Men, and I'll back you up in the field, but I do not trust you. I don't like you, and you probably smell funny too. I mean, he just laid into him like there was no tomorrow, and he was like, but since you're part of the team, I'm gonna back you up, that type of thing. So it was almost a badass moment.
They had been building up to that moment for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So then my last must read is that Bishop Xavier Security Enforcers 1 through 3. It's a John Ostrander, Nick Napolitano, and Steve Epting book. And this is a good read because you got a lot of good backstory about his security enforcing, time frame. You got to meet his sister and stuff like that. So you got a little bit more expanded Bishop knowledge here, or Bishop universe, I'll say. And it was a good read, so definitely check this one out.
Nice.
Good choices. Good choice. The Gambit confrontation was pretty good.
Yep.
They were always crusty with one another.
Oh my God, yes.
My dog woke up to bark, and she's
agreeing. She's agreeing.
I think that Gambit was also on that Extreme X-Men team.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Because he never wanted to leave Gambit by himself, because he always wanted to keep an eye on him.
You want an eye on him. Can't trust that Cajun thief.
Can't trust that Cajun.
Sonny here says Uncanny X-Men 287 is one of his favorite issues of X-Men. That's great, Sonny. That's awesome.
I bet One Hulk 180 is another one of his favorite X-Men issues.
Sonny got an X-Men. Sonny got an X-Men treat yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yes, he did. He requested he requested a showcase, and he got an X-Men. He got an X-Men treat. So
ain't that something?
Yeah, he saw some, and he really enjoyed the Steranko and Neil Adams X-Men covers. that he
Nice.
hadn't seen before too. So,
That's good stuff. That's
Sonny,
good stuff.
being the biggest X-Men fan here on Codex, I think, yeah, I bet that was amazing for him to see that stuff. And he also says he loves seeing Bishop fight Gambit in X-Men number 8.
Yep.
Yep.
Big throwdown there. Big
Yeah.
throwdown. All right, so moving on to our last segment of the night. This is best writer and artist that we have for this character. Dan didn't submit any of this, right? Did he? Thanks, DJ. I'm gonna work that Hulk 180 bit in every episode. Everything I do has a Hulk 180
There you
reference.
go.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Uncle Gary, why don't you give us your best artist and author?
okay, so my best author, even though I know a lot of different people wrote him, and that Byrne, was part of the creation, but also part of the creation, and the guy that wrote, thank you, TJ, thank you, brother. The guy that wrote Extreme X-Men, which was my favorite portrayal of Bishop, was Chris Claremont. So,
Oh yeah,
Chris Claremont, and when it comes to X characters, you can't go wrong if you pick Chris Claremont for any one of them. So Claremont,
that's a no-brainer.
Artist was really tough for me because I really do like Salvador Larroca's work. I mean, I loved it, but I gotta give the edge to Jim Lee.
Okay.
Jim Lee's Bishop was just spectacular. So I give it to Jim Lee.
Very good. All right, Tim, what do you got?
So I will not deny the altar that is Chris Claremont. However, I'm going to do again what I did last week, and I'm going to kind of go off the cuff a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So for writer, I would love to see, once again, Ed Brubaker take a shot at Bishop. I think Brubaker would do fantastic. Throw in that crime noir with a heavy dose of sci-fi and just go to town. But the artist I would want to see work with Brubaker on that is Portasio. He brought Bishop into this world, and I would love to see him do that again, working along with Brubaker, like an 8-issue mini or something like that. I think that would be gorgeous.
I think that's a great pairing. But yeah, you're right. He's a cop, and Brubaker has written some great stories with cops. I know this is something. Have you read The Fade Out?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, okay.
I got a lot of homework.
That is a great book. Okay.
But The Fade Out. I'll write that down.
The Fade Out. Oh, it's Hollywood in the late 40s after the war, and it's noir.
Nice.
Blacklists and other stuff. It is phenomenal. The Fade Out.
Perfect.
Very cool. So I wonder if Brubaker, when he goes to the hotel on Mars, does he flash the Brubaker ID?
Oh,
do you get that quote?
Get
the reference? Am I throwing a straw out here in the wind?
No, I got it.
Was that from Total Recall?
You got it.
Yeah.
So every time he says Brubaker, I think of Total Recall.
What have you been feeding this thing?
Blondes. Mostly blondes. Anyhow, so for our artist and author, I actually went a little bit different. I almost picked Claremont, but because of my Claremont obsession on my wall, you can see it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went with Jim Lee for artist because I really like his stuff. But for a writer, I went with John Ostrander.
Ooh.
You can't go wrong with him either. He's one of my favorite authors.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with him either. To tell you the truth, I don't think there has been a bad author for Bishop at all. So
Mark Millar, for the one panel he wrote those words.
Well, and I tell you what, had it not been for how much I loved Extreme X-Men, I would have picked Ostrander too.
Yep.
Right on.
Awesome. Well, guys, these were great readings, great covers, great badass moments. Oh, this is a great episode.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Dan at least recorded the intro for us because there's no way I could have done that.
We can't do that. Dan has to do that. He's the only one that's good enough.
He's indispensable.
Yes.
Yep. And this, I guess we can go ahead and conclude this episode of Comic Character of the Week where we covered Bishop. Once again, I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. You can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner and on Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Uncle Gary, the Ric Flair Comics, give us a quick out where they can find you.
Comic Logic, Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Come see us. We have you can check us out on Facebook, check us out on the web. And big announcement we had this week for Free Comic Book Day, May the 4th. We will have Brendan Wayne, who is the actor who does all the acting in The Mandalorian when the helmet is on. So please come see us for that sign. Sal says he's going to be there. So come see us. Loudoun County, Virginia. We would love to see you there. And let's give some love to Comic Character of the Day, the site by our good buddy Archduke Kevy. It's the reason that we are all acquainted, and that so thanks to him. So I posted a cover of the day, and Dan posted a panel and a question of the day. Sal's a frequent collaborator, and Tim is always watching. Make sure that we're living up to Archduke Kevy's standards.
There you go.
And before I let you give the intro to or the outro to Tim, let's go ahead and give a shout out to Dan. You can always find Dan Kelly on Dan Kelly Art on Instagram. So please check him out. We need him to get across 1K. So we need 1K for DK.
1K for DK.
We got to get that big D across that line, baby.
There you go, baby.
Let's do it. And
TJ,
now,
thanks for watching, brother. Thanks.
Yeah, TJ, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let me throw that back up there again.
Yeah, do
TJ,
it.
It's always a pleasure to have you in here, man.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys have a great night too.
Yep. Uncle
Have
Gary.
a Hulk 180 night, baby.
Yes. Have a Hulk 180 night.
Perfect nights were written in Hulk 180.
Yes. Uncle Gary, please give the outro to Tim.
The outro to Tim.
Yeah, the transfer where you give the introduction, the sign us.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I can't take that away from you.
I was thinking about Hulk 180, and
I know
I got sidetracked thinking about how Hulk 180, and I'm going to give Tim a great introduction, even though he doesn't think Hulk 180 is the first appearance of Wolverine. So listen,
I can't be perfect.
It just goes to show you the man with the perfect vocals just there's a teeny little tiny flaw, but that's okay. We're still going to introduce him because he is the man with the perfect set of golden pipes. He is our Dr. Johnny Fever crossed with Mel Torme. And what you get is a melodious sound that emanates from him. And you'll follow that sound. You would follow that sound. If he was evil, you would follow that sound like a lemming off the cliff. He would be a Pied Piper, but he uses his powers for good. He uses his powers for the good to have you tune into this station and be a part of this, and to be a part of this discussion and to expand your horizons of comic knowledge. So thank you. And
there goes Bishop.
There goes Bishop.
Bishop just went back in time.
Bishop went back in time because he wants to come back and correct Tim's opinion that Hulk 180 is not the first appearance of Wolverine. But all that being said, we are honored and you are gifted with the sound of the man with the velvet pipes, Mr. Tim the Terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time tonight. We are always in your debt when you allow us into your homes. If you're on your bed, in your couch, on your chair, whatever you need to be, or on the porcelain throne. Wherever you watch Codex, we hope you are having a wonderful time, day, night, morning, afternoon, evening. Just remember, everything was created in Hulk 180, and there's just no way around that. So,
there you go.
If you made it this far, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a lot of you that are watching right now that haven't hit the subscribe button on Codex. We would love for you to do that. You've been here more than once. After 3 times, your family. So just hit the subscribe, hit the like, and all that good stuff. So that way Uncle Gary can put Bishop down.
Back together.
Put him back together. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Codex Station, find us on all the socials. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. Please, we implore you. We beg of you. We would love to have you as part of this community. It's growing fast, so get in while the getting's good, because the getting will always be good. So at the Codex Station, ladies and gentlemen, and I would be remiss if I didn't have Gary say what we need to do with that.
Well, we at the Codex Station, we happen to have all the socials. And we would like nothing better than to give them to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, these endings of each and every episode is our way to soothe you, to comfort you, to let you know as we rub your hair that we love you very much, and to get what we want, which is a subscribe, please. So, and then for that long T-shirt to wear the next morning while we're making pancakes and waffles, head over to the codexstation.com for all your Codex needs. Get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the codexstation.com.
All right. Thank you guys once again. It was an excellent episode, and I will see you guys next week. But everybody else, I hope you have a Hulk 180 day.
Woo!
Bam!
Have
Saw
a
what he did
cameo
there.
day, ladies and gentlemen.
Saw what he did there.
If I have a mic, I can drop it.
My lord, that's the end right there. Goodbye. Gaping holes.
Oh, God,
Now we
throw it in.